Hey everyone, and welcome. So, we've all heard about the deadliest spells in the wizarding world. The most powerful ones. But today, we're going to explore something a little different. We're talking about the most messed up, seriously demented spells. The kind that make you just stop and ask, why would anyone even invent that?
And that's a real question. What is actually scarier than a spell that can just end it all? Because as we're about to see, some fates are so much worse than a quick, clean death. The wizarding world is just filled with magic that doesn't target your life, it targets your mind, your identity, your very humanity.
All right, so here's what we've got lined up. First, we'll look at spells that go way beyond the famous Unforgivables. Then, we'll dive into some magic that's deceptively dangerous. After that, we'll get into the really nasty stuff, curses of cruel transformation. We'll touch on the evils we all know, and then wrap things up with a thought on what it means to invent cruelty itself. So let's get into it.
So this first section, this really gets to the core of it all. We're not just looking at how powerful a spell is, we're looking at the intent behind it. We're asking why. Why would you create a spell whose only purpose seems to be making someone suffer?
And this is exactly what we're talking about. These are spells designed for pure, unadulterated malice. This isn't about winning a fight or defending yourself. Nope. This is about inflicting pain and humiliation just for the sake of it. Okay, now let's look at how even seemingly harmless magic can take a really dark turn. See, some of the most unsettling spells out there they aren't born dark. They're just tools. And like any tool, it all depends on who's using it.
Take the vanishing spell, Evanesco. Seems simple, right? You make a broken teacup disappear, clean up a mess. But what happens when you cast that on a person? One moment, they're right there. The next, they're just gone. No body, no trace, nothing. And that's exactly what is so horrifying. I mean, where do they go? McGonagall once said vanished objects go into non-being. Just think about that for a second. Not teleported, not even killed, but erased, wiped from existence itself. It's just a terrifyingly absolute way to get rid of someone.
And then we've got Obliviate, the memory charm. Now, its main purpose is actually kind of noble, protecting the secrecy of the wizarding world. But you put that in the wrong hands, and suddenly it's a weapon that doesn't just steal a memory, it steals who you are. This quote about Gilderoy Lockhart just hits so hard. The guy wasn't just a fraud, he was a thief of souls. He used Obliviate to literally hollow people out, leaving them as empty shells. And maybe the worst part? The victim would never even know what they lost. It's just so insidious. All right, we're heading into some much darker territory now. These next few spells, they have no good purpose. None. They were created for one reason and one reason only: to disfigure, to humiliate, and to mutilate people in the most grotesque ways you can possibly imagine. So first up is Mutatio Scullis. This is a dark curse that literally twists and contorts a person's skull. Apparently, ancient Egyptian wizards used it on tomb robbers, turning them into these living, breathing warnings for anyone else who'd try. It's not just an attack, it's a permanent, horrifying brand. And if that wasn't bad enough, how about Tentaclophores? This curse literally replaces your head with a tentacle. That's complete sensory deprivation. No sight, no speech, just total confusion. And the worst part is the uncertainty. It's not even clear if this kind of horrific transformation can be reversed. Then there's Oscusy, which is just another level of cruel. It doesn't just make you quiet, it physically removes your mouth, seals it right over with smooth skin. You can't talk, you can't eat, you can't even scream. It's an unbelievably invasive curse, one that Letta Lestrange infamously used at Hogwarts. So, how do these awful, obscure spells really stack up against the most infamous dark magic of all? Let's take a quick look at the unforgivable curses. They're pretty much the gold standard of evil, so they'll help put everything else in perspective. So, as you can see, what really makes these curses unforgivable isn't just what they do. It's the raw malice you need to actually cast them. For the Imperious Curse, you can't just want someone to do something. You have to truly desire the complete and total domination of their free will. For the Cruciatus Curse, well, like Bellatrix Lestrange said, you have to mean it. You have to want to cause agonizing pain, and on some level, you have to enjoy it. And for Avada Kedavra, it takes the cold, hard, genuine desire to commit murder. That's why not every dark wizard can just pull these off. It takes a soul that's truly rotten to the core. This description of the Riddle family's murder is just chilling. It perfectly captures the horror of the killing curse. There are no marks, no wounds, no poison, just instant, untraceable death. It's as if their souls were ripped right out of their bodies, leaving behind nothing but that look of pure terror.
So, as we start to wrap this up, let's circle all the way back to that first question. We've looked at spells that can erase you from existence, steal your mind, and twist your body into something just unrecognizable. And all of it forces us to confront a really unsettling idea.
And that is the question I really want to leave you with. I mean, Avada Kedavra kills. Imperio controls. They have a purpose, as twisted as it is. But a spell like Mutatio Scullis or Tentaclifores, they only exist to inflict bizarre, pointless suffering. It's a dark mirror of the human or wizard capacity for pure, senseless cruelty. It really makes you wonder what other horrors are still lurking out there in the darkest corners of magic.